And that's a really good thing because these DBQs are easy, right? As long as you know the structure of them. So, on this first page, we're looking for the question, right? Can anybody tell me what the question is? Anybody? Yes.
How did Islamic civilization spread to encompass such an extensive?
Okay. So we can just say, how did Islamic empire spread? Nice. All right. This is our main question, and can everybody turn onto the back page? Turn on the back page, and you'll see your little rubric there. All right. This is your rubric right here, right? Number 1. This is the biggest thing. Has acceptable thesis, right? So, your thesis statement should be in your opening paragraph. And it's the most important part of your paper because it's like the outline of what you're going to talk about, right? Now, a database question is just that. It's based on the data that they give you, right? You don't need to come in, you need to come in with a basic understanding of the topic, but you don't need to know a whole lot of details and specific information, right? The data is going to tell you that. So you flip through and look through your documents. This is where your answers are going to be, right? To your main question. How did Islamic empire spread? Right? So why don't you guys take a minute and read through those documents for me. Trade. Nice. I heard trade. Trade routes. You want to use more academic language. You could say extensive trade routes, right? Nice big word. What about a third one? What's a third one? How did they spread? What was that? Religion, right? A lot of these documents are about religion. So that should be one of your points, right? What about religion? What about the spread of their religion, but more specifically, were they cool with other religions? They made them pay tribute. So they got money from other religions, but also, did they let people practice their religion? They converted people, yes. So there's a lot to do with religion, but we could say maybe how do you spell religious?
I don't know.
And then, yeah. Yes.
That doesn't look right. Yeah, that's right. All right, we can say religious tolerance, right? Religious tolerance, because they were like, yeah, you can practice your own religion if you pay us money, right? And big empires are built on a lot of money, right? That's what gets you big. So, in your thesis statement, you want to address these 3 points. So what would a thesis statement look like? You want to answer the question and address those 3 points that you guys outlined. So what's an example? It's right there. Yeah.
You state the question and then you give like 3 sentences.
No, not 3 sentences, 1 sentence. Put it all in 1 sentence.
Do I say it?
Yeah.
Okay. The Islamic empire spread through military conquest, trade routes, and religious tolerance.
Bam. Bam, bam, bam. Thesis statement. Your AP grader is going to go, check, thesis statement, point, bam. And then, so you address this in your opening paragraph, you bring in a couple details and stuff, fluff it up a little bit. but on these AP tests, you kind of want to get straight to the point, right? It's not English. You don't want to fluff it up too much. Just get straight to the point. This is what happened. This is why. So after your thesis, you're going to have your body paragraphs, which are going to be these three right here, right? So now you want to group your documents, right? Because part of this DBQ is you need to use all of the documents. You need to use every single one of them, except you can leave out one and still get full credit. But if you want to be safe, use all of them, but you can leave out one, right? So we need to group these documents, right? Can anybody give me a document that you would put in your military conquest section? Yeah.
Document 8.
Document 8, why?
Because it's a map that shows the conquest.
Nice, exactly. So an example sentence that you would say would be, document 8 shows that the Muslim empire spread throughout much of the Mediterranean region, into Europe, the Middle East, say some of those things that you know, but say, document 8 shows that, or document 8 says, be specific, because your AP grader is just looking for those little document 1, document 2, document 3, document 8, they're going through.
Do
Yeah.
you have to find different ways to refer back to them, like how to, for our English on the FSA, we couldn't use the same way to go back and state evidence or whatever.
You mean you can't just say, document 8 shows
Yeah,
this,
you
document
have to-
7 shows this?
Yeah, you had to choose different ways in order to state.
Not necessarily, but you need to have your own cohesive idea, right? So a great way is to open up that military conquest paragraph with, the military strength of the Muslim empire was most likely the biggest reason that they spread so quickly and so extensively. Document 8 shows how far spread they were in the Mediterranean region, right? And then you move on, say, what's another document that shows their military conquest?
4.
4? What does 4 say?
It states how strong they were and what even.
Almost like how savage they were, right?
Brutal.
Brutal. Yeah, that's a good word. All right. Yeah, exactly. And then you could say document 4 shows that, they pretty much took what they wanted, they killed who opposed them, all that stuff. Are there any other ones that show military conquest as one of the reasons?
2.
2? Where's 2? Where is 2 taken from? The Quran, right? Their holy book.
Yeah.
It says in their holy book that whoever shall turn back, he will punish him, right? Pretty strong words, right? So you could say, document 2 shows that in their holiest book, it tells them to punish those who turn away from their God, right? Military conquest. Yeah.
Document 1.
Document 1. Believe or else pay tribute. Obey the Lord and his apostle, and he will defend you. But if you displease him, I'll fight against you and take captive your little ones and slay the elder. Yeah, that's pretty brutal too. You could also put that one probably in religious tolerance too. They almost weren't very tolerant of religions. We got opposing viewpoints on some of these documents. What about trade routes? Which ones would you group under there? 9 for sure, right? Nice. Any other ones? Anything about them making money you would put on this? Yeah.
We use 6.
6?
Yeah, it says in, for single guarantee of peace, attribute and return for protection.
Yep. Attributing return for protection. Nice. So as they were moving along these trade routes, they were basically telling people, yo, you gotta pay us tribute, or else we're gonna kill you, right? What about religious tolerance? That's a big one. Yeah,
Well, I was gonna say for trade routes, you could also use document 7.
document 7. Yeah, I mean, honestly, whatever you guys think you can group together, do it. Because you gotta use all these documents. Some of them you're gonna have to stretch, you're gonna have to make your own, right? But the main thing is to stick to your thesis statement throughout your paper, right? Don't switch it up. What about religious tolerance? Where does it talk about that? Yeah.
I put 5, 3, and 6.
5, 3, and 6.
Yeah, that's just me.
Yep, 5 looks really good. Read. Yes, I really like 3. What is 3 telling us? It says their leader is like one of them. The low cannot be distinguished from the high, nor the master from the slave. Right? That's kind of telling us that the Muslim religion is very attractive to poor people. A lot like Christianity, right? Christianity and Islam, when they started spreading, they were really attractive to poor people because, you know, if you live a good life and you have faith in your God, you go to heaven. Just like the rich guy. Rich guy has the same heaven as the poor guy, right? So it's very attractive to the poor people that they're conquering. Yeah, I like that. Any other ones? Are we missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What about 9? Oh, we got them all. There we go. So if you stick to this outline, you just used all your documents, right? But you need to cite them directly. Don't be vague, right? Say document 9 shows us the extent of the trade routes. You know? Document 3 shows that their religion was very attractive to the poor people that they were conquering. You know? Be very specific. Because your AP grader is looking for document 1, document 2, document 3. Right? They want to see all of that. Another thing that they're going to be looking for is point of view. Right? Point of view, meaning you need to have 2 different points of view that you address. Right? Ideally, 2 opposing points of view. Did anybody find a point of view in one of the documents? Yeah.
I mean, document 1, it's like Muhammad talking, so it's his point of view.
Okay. Document 1. I maybe wouldn't use that because that's more of like their doctrine of their religion. I mean, if you could figure out a way to do it, I would do it. But I was thinking more of something like document 4. Is anybody thinking document 4? What point of view does that seem to be taking? And you guys will be given the source of the information. So as you can see from document 4, 15 Decisive Battles of the World by Sir Edward Cressy. You know, he's not a Muslim. So, what do you think his point of view is? Opposing them, right? So you could say that. Be like, in document 4, we see the point of view of this Englishman, you know, talking about how savage and barbaric the Muslim fighting style was. You know, he probably has reason to defend his people over the Muslim people, right? What's another point of view? Saw some hands? Yes?
Document 6, it's by a Muslim writer from the Spirit of Islam.
Nice, excellent. So point of view, we have document 4, opposing Islam. And then we have document 6, which is by a Muslim writer, and what's he saying?
He's pro-Islam. Like, he says Islam never interfered with the dogmas of any moral faith, never persecuted, stuff like that. So
Nice.
he's defending it.
And he's kind of like bashing Christianity a little bit too, right? Yeah. So defending Islam.
Is this like a paragraph, or are we saying like the point of views in the paragraphs when we talk about a document?
You're going to want to include the points of view in these paragraphs. So like when you address document 4 in your military conquest paragraph, you want to include point of view,
Okay.
right? And also another thing, use the words point of view, right? Because you don't want the AP grader to have to figure out if that's where you're talking about point of view. Just say it. Like, oh, document 4 like clearly has the point of view of you know, somebody who got conquered by Islam, right? Because they're clearly being negative towards their warriors or their military. So yeah, just say the words. You guys gotta think like an AP grader, right? You wanna make their job easy, right? Because when their job's easy and they can just check, 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 you get all the points, right? And you get a 5, everybody's happy. Get those college credits. All right, so we got our question, our thesis. Thesis is the big one. You want to include all this in your thesis. Then you want to group them, right? And this is all during that 15-minute reading period that you're doing this little outline. And then those 45 minutes where you're writing is a breeze, right? Because you know exactly what you're writing down. Nice. Let's look at our rubric, see if we're missing anything. Yes, we are. Number 6. Right? Number 6 is kind of like our cherry on top at the end. Right? Because every good essay has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Right? So in our conclusion, we're going to put our cherry on top, which is identifies and explains the need for one type of appropriate additional document or source, right? So in our conclusion, we want to talk about what we want, right? What is missing, right? What's another source or document that you guys might want in order to prove your point better? Everybody think of one? This one's a little bit more difficult because it makes you kind of think, right? It's not just explaining what the documents are saying. You got to think, oh, what is missing from these documents? What can I use? Anybody? Yeah.
I would have liked more stuff actually talking about the trade routes, not just about showing it.
Excellent. Yes. So you want some additional Docs on trade, right? Yeah, because we don't have a whole lot on trade. It's kind of a stretch. We just have that map showing the trade routes, but yeah, it would be cool to have, you know, like a primary source of, you know, like a merchant's ship or something, or, you know, a camel caravan, you know, what they were shipping from the east to the west, or, you know, the exchange of ideas. You kind of want a little bit more about that trade. There's tons about the military and about religion, but we're missing a little bit about trade. That's what you want to talk about in your conclusion, right? You want to restate your thesis with a little bit more detail, and you also want to be like, you know, but we could use a little bit more additional information, maybe a primary source about some trade routes going on in the Muslim Empire, right? Is this your guys' first DBQ that you guys are doing? Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you use those first 15 minutes to make a super solid outline like this, it's gonna be easy, right? And make it easy on your AP grader, right? So they can go check, 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 give you all the points, right? You guys kind of understand it a little better now? Yeah.
How much like the 5-paragraph essay should this be?
Again, it doesn't have to be a 5-paragraph essay. This is like kind of a college style thing. It's up to you how you guys want to do it. But again, you want to make it easy on that AP grader, right? So if you have your opening paragraph and you state your thesis sentence clearly in the opening paragraph, check mark. And then you group them by paragraph, that's another check, right? Because you grouped them properly. So you want to make it easy on them. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 5-paragraph essay, but if I was given this question, this is exactly how I would do it. And I would do it in 5 paragraphs. Because 45 minutes to write, you're not going to be able to write 7-8 paragraphs. Yeah.
So how do you state, or how would you write the additional documents that you would want to include on the text?
The additional documents, I would include it in my conclusion. So I'd restate my thesis in my conclusion, and then I would say, but in order to, you know, conclusively tell you that trade routes seriously affected the spread of the Islamic Empire, I would need more additional information, additional documents, primary sources on, you know, the extent of their trade. Yeah, just say something like that. Anybody else, questions? You guys think you could do it?
We'll have one more question.
Yeah.
How would you put in the point of view with the thesis of the number 1 military conference? Like, how would you put that? How would you say that?
So point of view, you got your documents that clearly have a point of view, right? So you know that. So when, like for this military conquest one, when you're on that section, that paragraph, and you're talking about what number 4 says, you know, number 4 comes from the point of view of somebody who was conquered by the Muslim Empire, and it's kind of showing us the sheer brutality and might of these people, right? So you want to be clear and concise with your sentences. Point of view, use that buzzword. Use the word point of view. Say document 1, document 2. Say that. You know, don't be vague. Tell them which document it's coming from. Cool? Any other questions? Yeah.
So we mentioned like the documents that we use in the thesis.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, the thesis statement is just answering this question. Don't use any documents in the thesis. Okay? Anything else? No? You guys got this. It's easy. Once you have your outline, piece of cake. Cool? Alright, you guys can get started now. And it's gonna be due the day of your test.